What up, brothers? It's the Clipper King returning, back on his own channel to do you a brand new review on the figure you see in front of you. It's the Avengers version of Loki. I'm going to tell you the backstory how I came to the figure, my thoughts on it. I'm going to score it up as I always do, get you some poses, and then something a little bit new, what I'm going to do from now on. I'll explain that in a minute. But like I said, get me all in all thoughts on the figures and see if the scores that it gets represents my real thoughts on the figure. So most of you will know, particularly people through Facebook, I got this figure last Monday and I've just been really dragging my arse on doing the review, partly down to time and family, and just, I don't know, I just never seem to have any spare time or the bedroom be free where I can crack on and get this review done. And you know my reviews are getting sort of between 30 minutes and 45 minutes, so I've got to put a night to one side just to film it, cut it, upload it, sort of thing. So like I say, you know how I do. I don't want to skimp and scrape and fucking put these short reviews on because I just think others are doing that and others are doing it well. So it's not my style. I want to stay with my own style, but like I say, it is time consuming. But anyway, what new am I going to do? I recently received some constructive criticism through Sideshow Freaks. Basically, someone told me I only use the Sideshow Freaks to upload my videos and to network, which is basically true, so I can't argue with it, and that's why I don't take offence to it. And I should upload pictures. The truth of the matter were, I could never upload pictures. I just didn't fucking know how to do it. I didn't know how to reduce the size of pictures or how to link them. And instead of going and asking somebody, I put it off. Anyway, I finally set up a photo bucket account, so now I can put my pictures onto there and then straight across to the Sideshow Freaks. So now, customer reviews are sort of getting as many comments about my thoughts as they are on the pose I'm putting in. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a full review like I always do. I am going to link that to Sideshow Freaks and Facebook, but what I'm going to do, each pose I'm going to take 3 or 4 shots, try and get you the angles in case you do want to copy these poses. You have got a frame of reference. You can go to Sideshow Freaks or you can go to Facebook and see the poses used in the review, sort of thing. Obviously, I still want you to watch the reviews and hear my thoughts, because I personally think a person's thoughts is as interesting as what he can do with a figure. But like I said, that's just my thoughts. And you know, I do move around when I'm doing reviews, so sometimes it's easier to copy a pose if you do see the figure from more angles. So first and foremost, I'll start off by saying how I came by the figure. A lot of guys in the community know a guy called Barry Helms. He does have his own YouTube channel, as you know, and he's a friend of mine through Facebook. I mentioned last week that I was thinking about swapping my City Hunter Predator, and Barry came to my channel and told me, or offered me, the Loki in exchange for it. To be honest, I might as well state now, Loki is a figure I wouldn't have bought. More down to the character from the film than the actual figure. There's a couple of things I don't like about the figure, and they'll become clear when I review it, but I wouldn't have gone out and bought it myself, and also down to the ridiculous price it started going for. But the City Hunter Predator, I pretty much bought it to review it, and I knew I would move it on at some point. So like I said, Barry came to me, do you fancy a swap? We did the swap deal, and Barry got his City Hunter Predator, and I got the Loki. So that's how it came by. Also, I will say at this point, massive respect to Barry. This is now the 3rd figure that we've swapped, and I've got to say, he's always been true to his word, and I would recommend an exchange with Barry at any point. He's a good guy. He stated that the box was slightly marked, and it was less so than I expected, but also that's not down to Barry, and I will cover the reason for that when I get to the packaging. But like I say, he was true to his word. He did ship it off, and it come in good condition, so thanks to Barry on that. And that is how I came by the figure. So that is the backstory. While it's in this pose, I will also say there is a lot of trading and selling going on through Facebook at the moment. I were in 2 trading groups up till yesterday, where I've left both for certain reasons I don't really want to go into on this video. But there is a lot of exchanges and sales going on in 2 groups over on Facebook, so I can recommend them, but there's just a couple of things that bother me about the groups, namely the fact that it's out of my own control. I basically always like to work on my own terms, as you know, and when I I'm seeing posts from people that I don't particularly like, and there's nothing I can really do about seeing them, then I just take myself out of the equation. So as of yesterday, I did leave both the trading groups I were in, and I will just trade and sell from my own page in future. So I'll just clear that up. So while we're in this position, I'll talk you through the pose. As you can see, I've got him with the helmet on, looking rather regal. Coming down this side, you can see he's all armoured up. He has got the cape on, which I found pretty easy to put on, but I'll cover that in the uniform. I've got him holding the cape, just so he can sort of manipulate. You can see I've got the twist through the cape, so it'll hold in his hand, as if he's pulling it back away from his feet. Yeah, on the other side, I've got it sort of sagging over his foot there, and then I've got the beading, which is like the underskirt section or the waistcoat section, running parallel to the cape as it sweeps around there. So yeah, I've not only posed the figure, I have posed the cloth as well to sort of take it in on his sides, stop it looking bulky, which I have seen in other pictures. Then I've got the large scepter in his right hand, like I say, just slightly looking off to the left. So yeah, that is the first pose. It is pretty neutral, but I wanted obviously to display it with the box, and yeah, quite nice. So I mentioned the source material. I have already reviewed other figures from the Avengers line. I always give them a 4, I think. I've stated before, I do prefer the Avengers to the Dark Knight, and the reason I always compare them is because they came out around about the same time. Dark Knight was slightly later. And I did prefer the Avengers. But on this occasion, I am going to mark the figure down on source material, simply because I didn't particularly like Loki as a villain. I don't think he was anywhere near sinister enough. The fact that he kept dropping wisecracks sort of softened his edge, which I didn't like, and made him more child-friendly, I would say. And also, when you sort of sit back and watch the film, you realised if in the first 5 minutes they'd have brought Hulk to him, Hulk smashed him around a fucking room and ploughed him through the floor, then it would have been a short film, because I don't think he's much of a threat. It's only the fact that he's sort of been given an army to control that even makes him worthy of being an opponent. So that's my thoughts on Loki. I know Loki's sort of cult hero, particularly comic book fans. It's sort of the villain everybody loves to love sort of thing, but I don't feel it. I know why they used him as a villain. He was the best link sort of from the Thor film. And like I say, it sort of set it up well. We're using the alien army. But for me, I just didn't like Thor as a character. So I have marked the source material down to a 3 out of 5. Moving on to packaging. We all know these packages by now. The themed colours. This one's green with the gold lettering. It's got the gloss effect. The Avengers. And like I said, the chrome, gold chrome on this one, where it says the Avengers. Again, shades of green for the Loki picture. I do like the picture on that. I do like the expression as well. Kind of wish the figure would have gone for that expression instead of the smirk that he went for. But nothing new really with the packaging. I've said before, a normal slipcover box, I would normally give that 3 and then bump it up a point because of the uniformity of all the Avengers boxes. And I would have done that here. But like I've said before, I'm tightening up on the scores. And I'm going to mark it down a bit. And it's not because of the design of the box. It's just because this mark here really doesn't bother me at all. It's hardly even notable, especially when it's sort of on the scepter, because the pattern of the scepter throws away this sort of crease here. And like I said earlier, it's not Barry's fault at all. It's Sideshow's fault. Sideshow Collectibles, which is where the figure came from originally. Now, unless you ask Sideshow to take a little bit more of your money to double box it, they won't. They'll just send it in the shipper box, and then what they do is they stick the labels and everything all over the shipper box so you can't get them off, which is fucking shit really, because the penny pinching bastards. And that's why I'm marking it down, just simply because it's not good enough. You could buy something else from America, from Big Bad Toy Store, Alter Ego Comics, or whoever, Typhon Toys, whoever you want to buy from, and I'm sure they would double box it. But the biggest fucking distributor out there in America, Sideshow Collectibles, can't double box it for free. So I said fuck them. And like I said, I have marked it down back down to a 3 for the box. It's nothing out of the ordinary, but like I say, if you are going to display it with the other Avengers boxes, then I suppose it would look good. I have done a pose. I don't think on the packaging section. I have done one. I'm going to put a short pause in here, and I'll talk you through the pose. So I did go for a pose in the packaging section. I don't think I normally do, but I couldn't remember, so I thought, fuck it, I'll chuck one in. Gives me a chance to play with this figure, which I haven't really done all week. So I went from the neutral stance in the original one to a more action-packed stance in this one. Pretty much just jumping forward and swiping with a scepter. As you can see, I've still got the long scepter on him, using the same hands as the first pose, and left the helmet on. Like I say, I prefer it with the helmet on for a couple of reasons. The main reason being it makes it look more sort of Roman gladiator, so not so much a gladiator but a Roman soldier kind of look, and I do like that about it. The cape is not wired, which I thought it were from the first OMG photos that I saw. So to get it like that, this cabinet I've got, it's got like, you see these things, because you could put another shelf in there, but they unscrew. So all I've done, I've unscrewed the one under there and nipped the cape in, and then drape the cape, get a nice flow up onto his shoulder. He's rotated at the waist, so his left leg's cutting across. If I show you like that. Obviously I'm using the new Goblin stand again. So yeah, he's leaping forward. He's going to come round with a swipe from right to left. That's what I've gone for. Also, I will say as well, the undergarment sort of thing, the waistcoat, it has these flowing tails. Now because they're beaded, they're not wired, which I would have preferred if they were, but they're not. But because they're quite stiff anyway, you can sort of position them, or put a fold in, and it will sort of, instead of twisting back, you can sort of position them where you want and trap them in place, which I've done. Because people say when I'm posing, how do I get to do this, this and this? Basically use the stand, use the figure, use the rest of the costume to get things to stay where they are. But I'll cover the posability more when I get to the articulation and the outfit section. But I do like that pose, and like I say, I'm going to get a couple of snaps to upload to Sideshow Freaks. Moving on to likeness, and I am only really going to cover the facial likeness. But I got into that pose, and I thought that'd look good with the Thor. Without me having to repose Thor, I think I could show those again together. So I went and I got that look, and I really fucking chuffed with it, because it's similar how the legs are positioned, but it also shows a lot of movement. Like Thor's, if he's going to try and snatch the scepter out in his hand, as you can see I'm using the smaller scepter now, and also he's got his hammer back as if he's coming round, and then sort of his backhand. I've got it in a position, and I'll cover this on the hands, but one of the things I don't like about the hands is it's got a couple of posed hands missing, but basically the hand I've gone for there is as if he's sort of, I don't know, channeling some kind of electricity or like a thunderbolt sort of thing, using some kind of magic. But like I say, he's sort of defending and attacking at the same time, and then Thor's doing the same sort of thing. So yeah, like a fight pose sort of thing. So I did like that. But like I say, I am on the likeness category, so I am going to put a short pause in, get Thor out, and I am going to bring another figure in it here actually, because the points I don't like about Loki, I do like on another figure. So I am going to show another figure with it. But like I said, the pose, pretty nice. I will show you when Thor's out of the way, because I've sort of fanned round his tail cloth sort of thing to give some nice position. But yeah, I do like that. I get a couple of photos while they're like that, and like I say, upload them. But I am going to cover the likeness. Right, so Thor's out of the way. I will show you pose before I start covering the likeness. As you can see, I got a really low dip through the legs. Back foot sort of balancing him. Most of his weight's on his front foot. The sort of turn under. Show the boots down. So yeah, like I say, got the smaller scepter up, using it kind of like a sword. But what I like about it is because of the stand at back, I've managed to throw all the left side of his cape sort of thing round, tucked it behind the pole, and it's made this sort of feathered effect, which I'm really liking, because it does show, like again, does show movement, although they're not wired, so I do like that. So yeah, that's the poles for you, and like I said, I will get some more photos of it like that. The likeness, couple of me nitpicks sort of come from the likeness here. It's not so much there's one accuracy problem, I think, and I'm not really one who ever sort of pisses and moans about the accuracy, because I don't stand there and I don't draw measurements or things like that. I just, if it looks close enough, it's good enough for me. There's a few things I don't like about the likeness. One of them's a functional problem, and I'll cover that first. Right, if you remember when I reviewed Thor, I talked about his hair and how soft it were and pliable. This is a similar sort of thing. They've got sort of the layered effect, so it kinks out like it does in the film. But what you notice with this is, they're like little fucking razor blades on end of his hair. It's nowhere near as pliable as the Thor one were, because it's obviously cut shorter. But it's like he's got 1,000 little fucking needles right back of his head. Which looks good, I can't deny that. But why would you think it'd fucking piss me off? Well, I'll tell you why it pissed me off. Because these holes here and here are where the cape attaches, and then the cape sort of hangs down back of that gold section and that gold section. So, just grab his cape, because his cape's not on. Put his cape here. So you imagine that's folded over his back. At side of them little fucking needles of hair, and what do you get? You see them here? I think my camera is good enough to pick up. Pulls in the fabric. Every time you slightly move his hair, it grabs his cape and it fucking snags top of his cape. So over time, it's gonna fucking pick it and pull it and make it look a right fucking pig's ear. So that is a functional problem for me. I think the hair should have been able to stick up like it does without wrecking fuck out cape. Or if that were the case and they knew about it, the cape should have been a material that wouldn't pull as easy as this one does. So that really fucking rankles with me. Now, a little tip for you. If your cape does that, and you get these little bits of thread, like just the end of where my thumb is, hanging off, and they're noticeable, don't start pulling at them or trying to cut them with scissors, because what you're going to do is, you're going to get a runner in your cloth. What I do is, I get a lighter, get the flame going, and just waft it past these little bits, and then what it'll do is, it'll sort of singe them, and it'll seal the pull. So I've already done that. I think this one's already been singed. This one I've just done. So like I said, it really fucking pisses me off, because it doesn't do it on the Thor cape, and they're basically the same cape, only a different colour. So yeah, that pisses me off with the hair. The other thing is an accuracy problem. Look at Thor's hairline. Look at Loki's hairline. I'm sort of eye level with him now. Look how straight his hairline is. Now you look at film, and I ain't even looked at film this week, but I know for a fact one of the most redeeming features about Loki's head is his hairline is sort of more an M shape. So here, where my finger is, and here, they're probably high enough there, but this front section should dip forward a bit and make sort of an M-shaped hairline. And it's really, really obvious that that his hair is like that. And I don't know if they've done it to try and flatter the actor or what, but I think it's inaccurate, and I'm not a nitpicker by any stretch. So that is an accuracy problem. The third thing is an opinion problem. I personally think, because of the expression they went for, the sort of smirk, mischievous grin or whatever, I think they sort of soften the figure, and it makes it not to my taste, so to speak. They did it with a Thriller Michael Jackson. They get it sort of like a dumb look, a dumb expression. I mean, his eyes sort of then get it like a sort of the more sinister look, but I don't know, the grin, the upturned mouth on sort of on this side, I don't know, it gives it a very cartoony feel to me. The paintwork again obviously is awesome, and it definitely does look like the actor, I can't doubt that, but this is where I'm going to bring in the other figure just to express my opinion. Right, I've brought in the figure I want to use. As you can see, It's the X-Men 3 version of Wolverine. Now, this figure got a lot of criticism on the expression, and mainly the teeth. Now, I never saw it, but I will say, I have touched up that sculpt, not the sculpt, the paintwork a little bit. What I've done is I've black washed it. Now, I always say black wash. What that is a blob of black paint, watered really down, and then brushed across. And then what happens is the black water will sink into the recesses of his sculpt. So any wrinkles or anything like that, it will sit in. You could probably see it most on the inside the lower lip and between the cracks in the teeth. So what it gives is like a false shadow. It's like a forced shadow sort of thing. It's an unrealistic shadow, like the line sort of from his nose down to the side of the mouth. It would look darker on this because it has had that dark wash. Then what I do to fix, I use acrylic paints. Then what I do to fix it is blast it with an airspray, which would then set the thing. It's like a fine glue, and it would also give like a sweatier type look. Some people would say it looks too glossy and unrealistic, but I like it, especially on an expression like this, because if he were in a pose like that and he's going mental, then he would sweat. So I do like it. Others might not. But the reason I picked this figure is because of the expression and because of the, I suppose, wrinkles, maybe the facial hair. I think it looks more realistic than that. That looks a very soft, cold sculpt to me. Now, I would black wash it. That would bring out the cheekbone, the line sort of between his nose, the sort of the divots where his eyebrows meet, just above his nose. It would strengthen the sculpt a little bit, but I don't know if it would look realistic on that figure because the sculpt is very clean and very smooth. So, like I said, this is just an opinion one. Where the Wolverine does look like a real man, the expression does, he looks like a real man going fucking mental. The Loki is very soft and very cartoony, in my opinion. I hope that makes sense to you. It makes sense in my mind, but it might not to you. But anyway, the likeness, I'm only going to give a 3 out of 5. I do think it looks like him, but the expression's just not to my taste. So, like I said, a 3 out of 5. Rolling on to outfit, and I'll zoom back and show you the pose. At first glance, the outfit is excellent. When I saw the pictures, especially the OMG pictures, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, they've got it. They've got it just right. It looks good. It looks accurate. It looks functional. I knew certain problems it would have that turned out to be right. But I will cover them. I'll try and cover everything. What I will say is, on looks alone, it does look good. The sort of eye for detail is unbelievable. The sort of mixed medias they've used, the detailing, the cross weave, the armour, the paint on the armour. Like I said, the different fabrics. You can see you've got your leather in here, then like a fabric, leather again, plastics, the beading. You've seen all this before on other reviews. But I want to try and cover other things that I've not seen on other reviews. The difference in the materials on these tails, and like I said, everything. The sort of armor, the plated section here on the legs, and all that. The outfit, I said earlier, it looked like a sort of Roman soldier. It done, to me, if you're a movie fan, if you can remember the elven costumes, sort of the Lothlorien elves or the Rivendell elves in Lord of the Rings, it's got a feeling of that sort of if you think of Lord Elrond's sort of costume, that's what it reminds me of. It's got a big feel of that towards it. Even the sweep on the scepter, it's very elvish feeling to me. And I would think even Loki's face is very elvish as well, very pointed and well defined. So that's how it feels to me. And like I say, it's layer on layer. It doesn't look over bulky. Certain poses it does look a bit too bulky, but that's down to your posing techniques, I think. But all in all, it's good. The boot is split again for good ankle articulation. Then you've got the cross weave that sort of hinders the knees a little bit, but not massively. Moving up, you've got layer on layer. I don't like this. I don't think it fits right, and I don't understand what it's there for. So I don't know if there's any real need for this belted section, because I don't know really why it's there, like I say. The upper armour does hinder the articulation. The weave fabric section here hinders the elbows. And then obviously you're limited to where you can tilt and move the head because of the shoulders, but not massively so in that respect. But just turn the pose and show you what I've done with it. Just show you the blades in the hand. Got them crossed over and holding them as if he's swaying. He's going to throw them out on the back sweep, and his scepter's trailing in behind him. So that's the pose I've gone for, and I do like that one. Another couple of bits to the outfit. Obviously the cape that fits in virtually identical to the Batman capes, and I'm gonna try and demonstrate it with helper, this fucking handsome Solomon bitch. He's gonna hold my camera in a minute, and I'm gonna try and demonstrate putting the cape in to make sure your folds are right and make sure it clicks into position. And I will show you something the cape does. I don't know if anybody realizes. So yeah, one of the flaws, like I've said, the air pulls the fabric, so they probably used the wrong fabric for me. They should have gone something more like, sorry, freestyling, more like that fabric on the Batman, because I don't think that'd pull as easy. And also Leaf out of the Dark Spartan, out the Dark Spartan's book should have been wired. Definitely the cape should have had a wire, probably down that side edge and along the bottom for dynamic posing. Some people don't like it, I personally do. And if it's a case that it's down to opinion, then give us both capes. Give us a single layered cape that will flow naturally. It's like that one. It's double layered, but in most poses it will stand off him because of how thick the double layer of fabric is. It doesn't ever sit and look like a proper cape. Thor's got the same problem. They should be a lot finer material, like the Tony Mai Batman cape. Should be like that. You could still pleat it and everything, but obviously you would see the pleat from the outside and the inside. But for me, should have had a wired cape. I need it for my posers. To make me happy, I need some wiring. The wiring as well should have gone into these sections. So you could take him in tight to him like that and then flare that one out, like fucking twist it or whatever. Get it doing summer instead of that. Look, just, no, nothing dynamic about it. Like I say, it will pose to a certain extent, but we'll wire through it. You can have that one fucking like that and then twisted or rolling, whatever. But it doesn't. So I have knocked it down, the score down on that. And the fact that it hinders the articulation, and I think they've used the wrong fabric for the cape, has took it down another point. So I will tell you, the outfit, I've given it a 3 out of 5, which sounds a little bit unfair because it does look awesome, but I don't know, we expect more, or I do personally. I'm saying to Hot Toys and Enter Bay, come on, please me, don't just give me standard shit, please me. It's 2013, blow my mind, and sometimes they don't. So, but like I said, I've showed you the pose, I've showed you that. The other thing, outfit-wise, is the helmet. A lot of reviews have said the helmet's a bit of a bastard to get on. I personally don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because I think it's identical, the idea, to the Highway Patrol Officer helmet on the T1000 Terminator. So I am going to show you how I do that with the Helper Callum, and I'm going to show you how to get the cape on, again, with Helper Callum. I'd never do it one-handed, but with his help, I should be able to do it. So I will show you the pose because I'm going to start moving the figure around to make it easy for myself to put those bits on. So, yes. Right, so like I said, I've got our Callum filming. So what I'm going to do is I'm trying to demonstrate putting on the cape and also putting on the helmet. So I think the obvious thing when you're doing something with the head or something around the shoulders, take the head off. It's easier for me. Eesh. So pull that bitch off. So you can see, got the head sculpt here. I'm going to put on the helmet. First things first, put on the bottom section. Now, for me, just inside this helmet here, there should have been that soft, spongy stuff. So it stands away from the face a bit and it's not going to scratch your paintwork. But they never. And luckily, the helmet is pretty pliable, so it's fucking easy. So anyway, so I put the bottom section on, just basically pulling it around his head. Get in over his ears and down. You getting it, Cal? Yeah. and then the top section. Now, it pretty much, this here, little clip, you got it? This clip here has got a clip into the inside of the helmet. So, first and foremost, I'll lock it in on one side, and then click it in on the other. So that is in. And then once it's on, you can sort of position, make it symmetrical, make it fit nice. So pretty easy, I think. And then obviously if you didn't want the cape on, just a matter of bang his neck back onto his body and you'd be done. But obviously I want to put the cape on. So I've got the figure on the stand. Obviously if I were doing this and I weren't trying to film it, I'd have it in hand. So show them these shoulder divot. As you can see, inside it's pretty much like top of a Batman figure. You get these cutaways. So keep looking at that. And then on the cape, you get these, see these black clips, which are stitched to that. And if you see, this back part here, you getting that? Clicks into the back of that. So this is how I do it. Take one side with a cape, with a plastic clip and the cloth. Put it slightly forward so it'll trap the cape in the right place, and then work it down into the hole, and then make sure the clip is snapped in at the back. There, done. So that's that side done. Same again with the other side. Make sure your folds are in the right place inside your clip. Hold the clip and your cloth in position. Push it slightly forward and down. Click it in. Yeah, that snap, we're in. So now, if you notice, on his shoulders he's got sort of a flat section and then a curled section. With this cape I noticed you can sort of push it in and push it down to the sides and it still stays clicked in. So if you're looking at it from front, his cape sort of opens up and would go like that sort of thing. But then also if you wanted them just straight back, just move them back into position so they're sort of front to back, and that's it. I've seen no end of reviews, particularly on the Batman cape, and people putting cape in and they're not clicking it all the way back. So they'll show a picture of the Batman and the fucking cape stood up like that. It's not flush to shoulder. Click that thing down at back till it clicks. Look at it, flush.
Beautiful.
Beautiful indeed, my fucking son. You'll know it. Drop one of his knives now. So that's on. Shoulder on. Try and watch his hair against the cape. Like I said, it'll fuck it up. Get on, Loki. On. So helmet and that on. Like I said, and that should be on camera. I hope that helps people, because that's what fucking Clipper King's here to do. So like I said, I give the outfit a 3 out of 5. Looks awesome, but not the best functioning outfit in the world. Once you get it posed, I suppose you're going to be happy. But just imagine if that were wired and you got these fuckers blowing away and this all up like that, be looking sweet as fuck. Tell me it won't, somebody. Be more action packed and be just, oh, be fucking sweet. But like I said, outfit 3 out of 5. Rolling on to articulation, I'm just realising this might be a long one, because I've done some comparisons with other figures and demonstration on the cape and the helmet, but I'd sooner show you than have to come and do amendments and it'd be another half-an-hour video. So if it is too long for some people, just remember you can watch part of it and then come back and watch the end at another time. So don't worry too much about the run time on it. But anyway, like I said, let's crack on to articulation. I'll start off by saying it is a true type body underneath, so without the costume it would do everything. With the costume it's slightly hindered in places, only really sort of upper arm. It would probably, that's probably the highest the upper arm would go. It won't go straight up above him obviously because of the shoulder and this section of armour here. The elbow, that's probably as tight as it go. obviously without the costume it would double bend, but sorry, because of the pleats and everything in the costume and the double layered fabric and all that, it sort of hinders it a little bit. Legs, not so much, because it's not as tight on the legs, although you do get this weaved section. It hinders it tiny bit, but not as much as the arms. The ankles move freely and nice because of the split section on the upper boot down to the shoe. The neck, obviously, it joins just under the head and lower neck, so it's pretty poseable, but obviously because of the air, you don't want to fuck about and scrag the cape with the air, so you've got to watch it there. So really the articulation is only hindered by the costume. Same on the hands. Each hand is sculpted with this sort of an hand guard on the back, and I will show you that when I get onto the accessories. But I've noticed that it does hinder the articulation a little bit, and it's mainly because it's forearm protector as well, and because the fabric comes down so far, it pops the hand off every now and again. Like I said, the cuff is really down, you can see the hand joint there, but if I start posing that around, chances are that hand's going to pop off a little bit. So yeah, again, it's affected because of the costume, not the body. I have got some nice poses, and I were only going to give the articulation a 3 because it's hindered by the clothes, but I would think that would be unfair on the body, so I'm going to bump it back up to a 4. And that's as well down to the poses I have got, because if you can't find a pose in this figure, I have seen a lot of reviews and a lot of photos where it stood pretty straight up and down like a regal style pose, and it's good if that's what you want, but if you want it in action, because you've got to remember at this point, if you're doing a dynamic setup of your Avengers, you've pretty much got Loki versus everybody. So you've got to have him in some kind of pose that's going to be menacing, or an attack pose sort of thing. So you've got to get that in mind when you are doing your poses. Again, I know it's not so much articulation, but I think it would have been more dynamic had the outfit posed as well, but it doesn't. But as you can see in the pose I've gone for there, I've got the cape sort of sweeping around, and see the nice pleats and everything, and just his foot poking out down there. And then again at this side, I actually wanted it like a sort of the cape billowing and then down onto that foot. So yeah, you do get the feel that he's swirling kind of thing. So like I said, giving it a 4 out of 5 on articulation. Rolling on to accessories. What does the figure bring with it? Just move down. I'm in the Ascension of Loki pose. Pretty much like he's been drawn up into the heavens, or he's using his magic to levitate or whatever. And then obviously just a little trick with the cape. It's got the cape fanned out on the upper step of the cabinet. So you can see you've got everything set out. When you open box, it looks like it comes with loads. The fact is it doesn't really. It's just that the helmet takes up a lot of room, which is really his costume. His cape's on the lower tray, which again is his costume. And then it's bits and bobs sort of thing. No separate head sculpt, no alternative alternative outfit, and no diorama stand. So I don't know. You get a lot of bits, like I said, but nothing major that you think, oh, I'm going to buy that figure because it's got 2 head sculpts or out like that. So what does it bring? Starting there, the instruction manual, which some might need on this figure just to basically get the muzzle on, or the helmet on, or the cape attached, whatever. Pretty much I've seen them all before kind of thing, so I crack on and never open the instructions, but obviously some would need it. The generic stand, obviously with the Avengers logo on, and the Loki nameplate. One thing I've noticed a few times on these stands, and I probably can't show you, you put the figure on it and it fucking drops. I don't know, there's no tension in it at all. I hope that's not a new trend, because it's as if the cradle doesn't fit the stand, which pisses me off, because sort of the weight of the figure's always pushing that down. I know you can spread it and that, get more tension that, but I don't want to risk snapping that inside this. But that's one thing I did notice with the stand, I thought it was worth mentioning. Got the 2 daggers. They are 2 separate sculpts, different daggers, sort of different handle. I would think they're the Asgard style dagger. Moving up to the muzzle, I have tried it on the face, it does fit snug and it is easy to get on and off, and I will probably use it on the last pose. So yeah, you get that. Get the Asgard sort of handcuffs, if you will, or bindings, whatever you want to call them, with a real metal chain in between. Nice touch. Only wears it for a split second in the film, but they are in there. They've covered all bases. You get the normal scepter, or the normal scepter sort of thing, with a sort of retracted blades, the gold handle and everything. Really nice sculpt and paintwork. The sort of blue translucent tesseract effect in the thing, really nicely done. I'll show you that. And then the bigger scepter, now with the blades completely open, again with a tesseract bulb sort of thing in the middle, and it's really extended. A nice touch. And you can sort of display him, obviously, like I've done, as if he's holding some kind of bow staff or a weapon like that, and then they use the smaller one as if it's a sword kind of thing. So it does give good pose options, so that's quite nice. Set of hand pegs, which is pretty standard now with these Hot Toys figures, and then hands. And just looking, obviously, he's got two, which I would call them the main spread hands, but this is a problem I have, and it's getting very regular with these Hot Toy figures. It's not so much the amount of hands, it's the hand selection what they puts in. I think they should put in some articulated hands, so there's no complaints. The art figures have the art figures Punisher has them and everything. They're really good hands. I used to use them on my Peter Parker, if you remember. The good hands. You could get any of them two posers with just one set of hands. But this one, what I don't like about it is, so you've got them pretty spread and like, I don't know what you would call them, sort of magic casting hands, I don't know. But then they're too similar to this fucking set of relaxed hands, and then this other hand, which is pretty much identical to fucking that. What's the point of that? It's just slightly got these first two fingers up a little bit. There's no fists. I always like a set of fists because it sort of gives the emphasis of power. A really nice tight clenched fist, but you don't get it. And I wanted an hand sort of like that, like he's fucking, I think it was the Red Skull figure, he had an hand sort of like that, and it was sort of, you know, if he's like conjuring up magic or like a thunderbolt or a lightning bolt sort of thing, an hand like that, that's what I wanted, something like that. Because he is a magician, so to speak, so I wanted something more like that, but that never came. And then you get these two sort of, they are gripping hands, but a little bit more relaxed than the ones in front. Like I said, all the hands do come with a hand guard on the back, which is nicely sculpted and painted, but does hinder the articulation slightly. So yeah, that's a little nitpick with the hands. I can't get top marks because I never do if it doesn't have a separate head sculpt or a complete new outfit. And again, no diorama base. So on the extras, I'm going to get 4, because you do get some bits and bobs and you get decent pose options, but they're not, you won't go out your way and think, fucking hell, it's fully loaded, it's like Terminator fucking T1000. It's not like that, but I suppose if you want the figure, you buy it without all those extras anyway. And like I said, it would have been a nicer touch if they put some wire on the costume. I've covered that already. Like I said, on the extras or accessories, I've given it a 4 out of 5. Right, rolling on to value. As I said at the beginning of the review, I didn't buy this figure, and to be honest, I didn't really have any strong intention to buy it. I was just happy to have the 6 main Avengers. That's including the Nick Fury. I weren't too bothered about the Black Widow, and that's still the case. No interested in Philip Coulson or the Chitauri Soldier. So I pretty much passed on this figure, and we're happy to pass on it. But like I said, I got the exchange offer from Barry Elms for the City Hunter Predator, which were pretty much, like I said, a figure I bought to review and to sell anyway. So that's how I came by the Loki. Am I happy to have it? Yeah, I am, having seen it, because I think it will complement the Avengers well. Would I, now knowing what I know, rush to buy it? Honestly, no. I think it is a passable figure, and I don't know what it is about it that makes it that way. But that's just how I feel. I don't know. I can't put my finger on what it is. And especially the price. I've noticed this current trend with the Avengers figures, and this is one of the reasons I came out of the trading group. It seems that everything Avengers or Dark Knight has got to be bumped up in price to to sort of overinflated and an unrealistic price. And you're thinking to yourself, is that better than that? Because in my honest opinion, no, it's not. So why the fuck should it go for more money than that? That is an awesome piece. And I think that will hold its price better. When we all forget about Avengers in a year or 18 months, I think that will still be considered one of the best figures around. Is that better than that? I would say no, it's fucking not. Again, is that better than that? Fucking no way. The DX are still the premiums for me. So why, just because it's Avengers, can we bump another £20 on, £30 on, 40, 50, and then try and fucking justify it? You think, I saw the price they come out at Model Zone, and Model Zone are more expensive than Lee Ward or fucking Wyman at 1/6 Bruce. So why do we get them and then try and fucking say, oh, well, they're Avengers, it's now worth £210. It's not worth £210. No way in fucking God's green earth is that figure worth £210. It's worth about same as a City Hunter Predator. Like I said to Barry, I paid £150 ship for my City Hunter Predator. That was with my deductions off with Lee Ward. I don't like to tell you what I pay Lee, but for the sake of being honest, that's what I paid him on that figure. £150 shipped. Now, does that bring more than the City Hunter Predator? No, City Hunter Predator has more than that. Did they use more material on this? No, the City Hunter Predator's bigger. Is this flavour of the month? Yeah, because it's Avengers. But does that mean then it's worth £50 more? Does it, fuck? Not in my eyes. And this is a reason why I've left these groups, because you're trying to deal with people who they look on eBay, they work an average price out and fucking think that's the value. Not in my eyes. And to be honest, I've got to a point where I can't even be asked to argue with people about it. I think I ain't chose you as one of my friends, you're in this group, and I just basically can't fucking deal with you. So I just thought, fucking take me out of the equation, save me a lot of arguments. So that's why I came out of the trading group. But the plus point to the trading group is you do get good guys in there. I've mentioned him before, and like I say, on this one it's Barry Helms. So I exchanged a Barney Ross for that. I sold my Black Suit Spider-Man and then went out and bought a DX Joker. So there is deals to be had, but would I endorse the trading groups? After long thought, and Ian Smith might not be happy with me saying this, I probably wouldn't, because I never tried to endorse anything that I don't 100% believe in, and I don't 100% believe in them trading groups. So that is my thoughts. So the value on this, like I say, I basically got it for £150. So is that good value? Probably, because I'd have paid round about that at Model Zone, or Good, the Bad and the Robots, or 1/6 Bruce. So it's not bad. Is it overpriced at that? Yeah, I think so. If I were to put it back in trading group now, I would think it would command a fee of somewhere around £200. That doesn't make it its value, but like I say, it's just flavour at month because it's an Avenger. So the value, I'm going to give it a 4, and that's a generous 4 because I were going to give it a 3, but I thought it is what it is. And I think if I'd have given it a lower score, it makes it look like Barry sort of sent me a dud figure, and that's not the case at all. He hasn't done that. He's kept to his word and he's done me an awesome deal, so respect to Barry, I can't stress that enough. But like I say, for the value, I've given it a 4 out of 5. And I hadn't spoke about the pose. I've pretty much gone back to the starting pose where he's straight up and down, but this time what I've tried to do is tighten him right up. So tighten his elbows right in as far as they go, tighten his hands right in, bring his arm around, get his cape tight instead of wrapping around him this time, feet together, and then his head slightly down and to his left, again watching the cape against the side of his hair. So yeah, I think you get a nice look depending on which angle you're looking at it from. So that's a pose, pretty straight up and down. And like I said, on value, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Right, as I said, I wanted to display him with the muzzle and the shackles, and that's what I'm going to do, tell you the overall score. Anybody who's been keeping count, you can see it's got 24 out of a possible 35, which is pretty low. I've tried to score it as fairly as possible. I've been quite tough on it because I think people who have bought the figure will love it. But like I said, a lot of the things were opinions and not sort of things that were actually wrong with it. But like I say, I always try to be honest with the review. The pose, you can see, got his mouth muzzled, and then I've done his cuffs around the back. I know it's not movie accurate, but I do like to try and keep it different to others. I think in the film he were cuffed at the front, but I just think it gives it more a sort of convict feel. So I did like that. Plus it shows you the pleats down the back of the cape and down to his arms around his back sort of thing. So yeah, it's not an awesome score. Is it an awesome figure? I would say not. Is it a good addition? Yeah, probably so, and I think it will pose well with others. I think you would need a villain if you are collecting the Avengers, so obviously this is the one to have. But not much more I can say. I've covered a lot of ground in this review. It might be too long for some, but I hope you watch it. I hope you hear my thoughts. Like I've said, tried to give you some posing options, but end of the day, do whatever the fuck you like. But for now, this was Loki. You got 24 and a possible 35. And this is a Clipper King, and I'm out of here.